What up, though, everybody? It's your boy Shane G. We are here once again with another episode of Bar Exam right here live on the Ethos Media Network. Got my brother Eric G in the building. Got my other brother, Mr. Marcus TV, in the building. What's up, gentlemen? How we doing?
What up, though?
What up? You kind of fritzed on the intro, like on our end, so it looked like you had Tourette's. So that's gonna be interesting playback because you was like, make sure
Okay.
you and I was like, what the fuck?
You
I
sounded
don't
like
hear that on my
Flacco.
side.
Yeah, it didn't. It was just on me and Eric's side, but yeah, it's gonna be an
I don't know.
interesting
We'll see if that
playback.
comes through in the recording. I don't have Tourette's, so
No, yeah, I mean, no, I'm not saying you did. I'm just
just letting the people know, you know what I mean? But before we get any started, I do want to just pay some respects to a legend, you know what I mean, in the black activist community who passed away this week. Rest in peace, Asada Shakur. You know what I'm saying? She passed away, and the American government never got to her. Clap it up for Asada Shakur. You know what I'm saying? They never got her. She was a freedom fighter who actually got away and escaped with her life. You know what I'm saying? She was in her 80s, so salute to her, you know what I mean? I just want to pay some proper respects. And also, being that we are speaking about a relative of a West Coast legend, that being Tupac Shakur, of course, I figured, Marcus, we would bring back a topic. We never actually did this on the show. So this is, kind of a surprise to you. Like I said, you don't know what's necessarily coming, but the concept will immediately be familiar as soon as I play the video. Um, so we're gonna start the show a little different today, and we're gonna react to something. So
If you didn't hear any noise, it's because I couldn't figure out how to add sound after I'm done filming this. But anyways, when I woke up this morning, I'm like, okay, I need to start getting some sleep. So I jumped on Google to figure out what day he was talking about. All right, so all of this research was done on coolaccidents.com, but we'll go by it step by step. Clue one, Ice Cube says, went to Short Dog's house. They was watching Yo MTV Raps. And Yo MTV Raps was first aired August 6th, 1988. So we know it is a day after that day. A second clue, obviously, is that the song itself was released on February 23rd, 1993. So we know it was after that. Clue three is obviously a big one because he says the Lakers beat the Supersonics. First of all, rest in peace to the Supersonics. But anyways, dates between Yo MTV Raps' first air date and the release of the single when the Lakers beat the Supersonics. We've got all these dates here, so we know it was one of these days. Clue four had to look at weather data because he says that there was no smog. These are the days where the Lakers beat the Supersonics and there was no smog in the air. So we're already down to 4 days, so we're almost there. Clue five is when he says, I got a beat from Kim and she can fuck all night. Sorry. Beepers weren't adopted by mobile phone companies until the 90s. So that just cuts it down to 2 days. There's only 2 days in the 90s, so we've only got a couple options left. And this is where it all comes together. Ice Cube starred in the film Boys in the Hood that was released late summer of 91 and was being filmed in late 1990 to early 1991. So Ice Cube would have been busy on set filming the entire day on January 18th, 1991, which means he would have been too busy and would not have been doing everything that he did in the song. So that only leaves one day where all of this happened, and it was January 20th, 1992. Great day. And now we can all go to sleep at night knowing good and well that Ice Cube was playing basketball on January 20th, 1992.
so he actually successfully did the research to find out what day the good day was in the song. Marcus, you don't remember sending us that video like a year or two ago or something? Like you sent it a mad long time ago, and we just never came back to it.
I remember it, but I don't remember why I sent it. Like I don't know what the context. Like, did I say he had too much time on his hands? Because even like going back, I'm like, I've seen this before. And then I was like, then I didn't know where you was going with it. And I'm like, why did I send this?
This is where
Like,
I'm going with it. Do you think we could pick a song and do that?
in today's
It doesn't have to be a song from today, but just any song. Like, do you think we could pick a song where somebody's talking about something very specific, but in a generic way, and we would have to figure it out by clues in the song what day they're talking about? Do you think we could do something like that? Or even not even a day, but like I
I ain't trying to
don't
be
know, an
funny.
event or
Like a
something.
period of time or something
So
like that.
this
Or
is gonna hasn't this already been done? And I
I
mean,
don't know.
and I say this not by podcast, but it's a reel about King Von where they had like where they actually are the prosecuting opening statements is like going back and forth between his lyrics and his song, like what he said you said you caught a young shorty in Gunsworth. That's when Mr. Terrell was shot on this, that, like she's actually breaking down like this has already been done. But yeah, I think we could. I think yeah, absolutely. It's
Yeah,
I
not
mean,
necessarily with like
yeah,
a crime song. You know what I'm saying? We don't necessarily got to expose the nigga crimes per se. But yeah, a lot of niggas do that with Lil Durk and King Von
yeah,
and all them type of niggas for sure. But I don't know.
absolutely. Yeah, I think it
I
can be done. I
yeah, for
think
sure.
more. I think it happens more often than not with when I say super mainstream artists, those who
mhm.
have equal amount of haters and fans. That's my justification of a super mainstream artist. You know,
Okay.
like an IE of a Drake. You know,
Mhm.
everything Drake says in a bar is going to be analyzed, scrutinized to the 10th power, by fans and by haters.
Yeah.
Same thing happened with this latest Cardi B album. You know, even in hindsight, listening to it again, I feel like her album was just the last 6 months, not necessarily the last 2.5 years we've been waiting for this, or maybe it's long. Is it maybe longer than that? I don't know how long
Oh,
it's
it's way long. It's way
maybe
longer.
longer than that. Yeah, but either way, she talked about the last 6 months of her life. Nothing. And this is also because y'all talked about Cardi last week, so I don't want to get too far into it. But she was damned if she do, damned if she didn't. If she gave us a classic, right? I'm just talking about banger after banger after banger. The expectation would have been too high. You might not have heard from her for the next 10 years. So,
Right.
Word. Like
so
I'm not able to live up to these motherfucking
yeah,
expectations
like
every
so
time.
now
So
she gave
Right.
you a mixtape album S, put some old stuff on it. It went platinum. Now she's look, I had a platinum album in 2025. What do you want from me? So like like I said, she did good. She played her part for career wise. So I mean, more shouts out to her, but it wasn't horrible, but it wasn't what we were looking for either. But at the same time, if she gave us what we were looking for, we would have never heard from her again. So, you know, I think
do you
artists
think
are
this is a
still getting it
setup
right.
for more, you know what I'm saying, for
Say that again.
do you think this is a setup for more music?
I hope it is, but it also didn't satisfy. Like Cardi had a lot of unanswered questions, and by her making the album and going, see, that's another thing too. The game is chess, not checkers, right? Let's just say Cardi released all of these songs with no album, but still went on a press run. We would dog walk her for going on podcasts talking about her situation just to promote, because she just saying this just to promote, just to get off it out. It would have been all of this back. No, she's on a press run and she's now getting questions. She intentionally went on a press run. These cameras and things could be on her, and now all of the questions that people have, they can ask under the umbrella of she's coming for her album.
Hmm.
God for shit, she can still be on Kimball next week. So I mean,
Right. And shout out to him getting his job back.
Right.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it's so. what used to be behind the scenes is no longer behind the scenes. You know,
Yes.
we're finding out in real time about situations that we legit years, decades for. You know, there are like I saw an interview today about how Pastor Troy had
Mhm.
the name about Pastor Troy. That's 25 years ago. And he just
Right.
did an interview about that today. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I watched it as in as high as I was like, oh, now I want to hear this. You know, but now we're those things that used to kind of be industry secrets or quiet as kept, and this nothing is quiet as kept, and nothing is an industry secret. Like, I mean, shit, just look at when I respectfully, and I'm just gonna just say like, look at the unwrap of Diddy.
Right.
It was known. It was known by industry circles, and clearly because we know that for the longest time. But publicly, never, nothing. You know, it was this thing. So, like I said, things are coming out now that have came out before. And I don't know if that's a
Yeah.
good or a bad thing right now. I mean, I think I I'll say this. I think that age, let me say, I don't want to say age, the era authenticity, I feel like is at its lowest it's ever going to be.
Yeah, I agree with you.
What do you mean? What do you mean by that,
Yeah.
though? The era of authenticity is at its lowest.
So like there's been so many societal shifts, right? So let's
Mhm.
just say, you know, how can you be a fan of Plies and then dislike Rick Ross? Because Plies said, I never rapped about my life. I was just rapping about my brother. And then Rick Ross was accepted as a correctional officer with the snitch. Like it's just been a slope. So what used to not be tolerated is now tolerated as long as the music is hot. Like, I don't know if that's society, if there's just more people going, but you used to be ran out of town. You used to could be like, oh my God, how is this dude even making it? How is, he ain't gonna be allowed to rap no more, you know, which which has kind of left the door open for some shunness to reemerge. You know, I particularly who comes to mind like that is a young buck. Like,
Mm.
you know what I'm saying? His verses was never in question.
Yeah.
He always had something fire to say, but because of his Uncle Clifford lifestyle, now all of a sudden he's not a rapper no more from Tennessee. That's what I'm saying. So like you can always have these situations manifest themselves and come back differently, but I just I just think that is a little different now. So, but back to your original question, yes, I think we could find in today's age, you know, we could listen to a bar and figure out where they were at and who they were with or what they were doing on a non-criminal and non-indictment kind of way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
No
Yeah.
think
doubt.
about
No doubt.
I think about this like Carson Kennedy or people like that. Like the everyday rapper who almost just describes what they're doing on at any given day. Like I feel like any type of nigga like that you could easily do
You
that.
you know who's at the top of my list for what you just described?
Who's that?
Don Tripp.
Mm,
That is the I'm gonna rap about what is going on currently in my life in real time, and it's gonna be an album about like whatever happened that week. That's his latest album. So he could be Young Boy and drop 52 albums in a year.
Right.
Because he is going to tell you these stories about what happened on Monday, what happened on Tuesday, how they and it's going to be relevant. Like you're going to listen.
Yeah, it is certain rappers like that. Like Wiz is kind of like that. Like I feel like there's certain songs you might be able to listen to of his where it's like, oh, he's talking about after this award show.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Or like after this event. This is the party he's talking about after this event. Or like some shit like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like there's certain songs like that that are probably like Drake would probably be good for that.
Mm.
Realistically, like if you listen to some songs, like you catch the BET Awards of 2018, or you know what I'm saying, like be able to pick out certain shit because of whatever he's saying in the lyrics that kind of correspond with what was going on in his life at the time.
And,
He's good like that with different girls that he brings up too. Like you can
Right.
pinpoint what era and like what time in his life he was in based off of whatever girl he was talking about in the lyric.
Mm-hmm.
and you know this. I want to say this about Drake because I don't. I know he's not gonna go away,
Mm-hmm.
but in like hindsight is always 2020, right?
Sure.
It, like listen to what I'm about to say.
All right.
Did did Drake lose today?
What do you
What do you
mean
mean?
by that?
So like lost status of saying greatest rapper or best rapper, which is subjectionable anyway,
Yeah.
just on a list. Did he lose money?
I'm sure he
Uh,
did.
probably. Well, no, this is what I'll say. Because I don't even like that framing a lot of time when it's rich people. And here's why. Because
Okay.
they'll say they lost money that they counted before they got.
Now
Did the thing to get the money. So did he actually lose money in that sense? No. He still got paid for all of his shows that he did. He still got. Now, did he get less shows? Did he make less money than he did the year previous? Probably.
well,
So if you consider that losing money, then sure.
so
You know what I'm saying?
this is why I'm glad you said it like that because I set that
Hmm.
question up to answer this. Everybody knows in the record business you get advances. Advances,
Hmm.
you have so many obligations to pay your advances back off, and this that we already know that game. So his last advance, I believe, either 100 or 450 that he paid back to the
Hmm.
record company and got his in less than 2 years. So his next advance from Universal was in bidding war and all this was set to be in the billions or at least a billion because I've already shown and done X, Y, and Z. That's why I said, did he lose money? Because the contract never happened because he's already fulfilled his old $450 million contract. And it's all like he's good there, but he just won't get this next billion. But who's also getting a $400 million advance right now? I mean, besides maybe a Taylor Swift and Adele, a Drake, like
Right.
there's less than 5 of those artists who's even getting that type of advance money anyway. So he's
Sure.
just not at the top of that list.
Hmm.
But even to still be on that list, that's why I said, did he lose? Because
Yeah.
there's not a rapper on any Billboard chart who Drake has not surpassed.
Yeah.
you gotta also look at it like this. That question is right, but you also got to look at it in the sense of, did he lose money or did he miss out on money that he would have been getting anyway had the beef never happened?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
That's
that's how
exactly
you
what
got
I'm
to look
saying.
at it. Because
So
And so
Drake
oh,
is
go
still
ahead.
Drake. Drake is still Drake, regardless. But you can't sit back and act like his credibility and different opportunities didn't get taken off of the table because of it, especially with other big companies kind of getting in bed with Kendrick around that time, i.e., Super Bowl, i.e., Amazon Music. You know what I mean? Like, there were different companies that were like, we really like what you're doing right now, Kendrick, and we're going to back you. So now,
And I'll
whether
take it a
it's,
step further,
and go ahead.
where I think he did lose money in the sense of rap battling was the Pusha T situation because
was
he
the what
had this whole
situation?
rollout for the Adidas and all of that stuff. Like he was gonna have like some sort of clothing, like a co-branding deal with Adidas that he was gonna roll out with his son. You know what I'm saying? That's where the whole story of Adidon came from or whatever, because it was a combination of Adidas and his son's name Adonis. You know what I'm saying? So that was where that came from, and that ruined that whole route. But that was already in the plans. So if you could say he lost money in a sense, it would have been there because they had to not do that at that point. You know what I'm saying? Based on what Pusha T said, and because of that record. So I don't think anything like that happened this time. So that's why I'm saying I'm not really willing to say he lost money. Now, did he make less money than he did the year before because less people were willing to fuck with him? I would say probably yeah. But to me, that's not losing money though. That's just making less.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if somebody
So
pulls out of a deal, that's losing money. You know what I'm saying?
Especially in his case because his deals are so massive.
Yeah.
so let's
It's like a
just let's
general waste, a generational wealth amount of money in one deal.
Right.
okay. So I'll ask this question. 49 fifty
Mm.
one. I don't want to say 50-50. I want to say 49-51. Who collabs with Drake that is a 49-51 situation? Like who's on that list?
What do you mean? What do you mean by 4951?
So like I need you, and when I say banger, I mean not like us type banger where it's everywhere. It's viral. It's the TikTok. It has a dance. Everybody loves it. It's hot. It's an undeniable banger. Classic. Who
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 needs one?
who needs that as much as Drake does? For like I said, Drake can be either 49 or the 51. I don't care. But then who is the opposite side of that?
I mean,
This
we're gonna go into it with my next with one of my topics, but Young Thug,
Mm.
he could probably
yeah.
use that. Lil Baby too.
Yeah.
He's on that list.
See,
There's
I would say
certain
I was
women's rappers that were hot a few years ago that I think a Drake feature with them could boost both of them if done correctly.
Yep.
Lotto, I ain't heard from her in a minute. You know, there's a few that we was talking about when Bar Exam first started, and it's like we only talking about Glorilla and you know what I'm saying, right back to Nicki and Cardi again. It's like what happened to the other five names we was talking about a few years back. I think some of them could benefit from a Drake feature,
I don't
and
disagree
Drake
with
would
Lil
benefit
Baby
from
because I
them
don't feel
too.
like he's 49. I feel like Lil Baby's like less than Gunna.
Way more or way less, I would
Yeah,
say.
so
For
that's what I'm
sure.
no.
I
So
think
I mean you
Gunna's
gotta
back, like all the way.
Yeah, Gunna's fine. He doesn't need that. He doesn't
yeah.
need a Drake
Yeah.
feature.
So that's what I'm
If
yeah,
anything, Drake would need the Gunna feature at this point, which
Yeah.
is kind of
Yeah.
wild. Which is
That
kind of
would be
wild to
more
say.
beneficial to Drake.
Yeah.
really.
Right now, yeah.
Yes. I think Gunna is all the way back. I think he's all the way forgiven. I don't think niggas care at all anymore.
Okay,
He
so
came
hear
out
me
with
out.
enough hot music and niggas. I think he's wiped the slate clean.
He about to drop a collab album with Offset,
You see what I'm saying?
like pretty
Like
soon, like before the
he's
year's
good.
over.
So if Gunna was to make the song that I just described with Drake, would that destroy Thug's comeback?
I mean, it wouldn't destroy it because I mean, my thing is that Thug is kind of doing kind of self-destructing on his own right now a little bit anyway. Um, we're talking about it right now, so we can get into it. So Thug just dropped his new album. It's called UY Scooty. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but that's how it's spelled UY and then SCUTI. So I don't know. But it's a little over 20 tracks long. I played a good portion of it this weekend. Um, the first thing I will say is that Young Thug is back to his antics. The album cover, if you look at it, is him doing whiteface, and he has
Mm-hmm.
and he has blue eyes. So that's already a lot. In the very first song, Ninja, he says the end of the record like for 10 times. So that's interesting. Um, and to me, just going through the album, it's just not sequenced very well at all. Like, there's a couple of good records here and there. I like On the News with Cardi. That's a decent record. The T.I. record, R.I.P. Big and Mac, that's a really good song. Um, even though I was just saying Lil Baby needs another good record, I will say the Lil Baby record on here is pretty good, and it was good to see him and YFN Lucci piece it up. But beyond that, this album is not that good, and it's a little disappointing because this was one of those that was like a highly anticipated record after him getting out of his situation. And I don't really know where he goes from here at this point because this was one that shouldn't have anchored, and it was
Do
for the
you
most
feel it was
part.
rushed?
I don't know because he announced this album so long ago that it's hard to tell. I think that maybe, for instance, there's a song on here called "Whoop De Doo," and I feel like that tagline really got hot after the Big Bank interview because he said "whoop de doo" in the interview,
Right.
and people took that as a soundbite. Like Joe Budden did it for his podcast and shit. So like that became like a popular soundbite. So it's like had that not have happened, I don't even think that song ends up on the album. Or if it is that, we don't hear because like on the record they throw in the whoop de doo as an ad lib on the back, but he's saying it throughout like the entire song. Had he not said that and had that not become a popular tagline on the pod he did with Big Bang, I don't think that that's even the name of the record at that point. But I do think a good portion of this probably was done when he first got out. But like a few other records, like the Cardi B record, like and a couple of other ones, I definitely feel like were thrown in like kind of last minute. The one thing that I will say that is a positive on here is that I do like that he does refer to the case and he does kind of talk about like his feelings towards it and everything. The one thing I really dislike about it that I told Shane about last night is that this album also feels like his like best impersonation of Lil Wayne when all Wayne could talk about was pussy. Because that's pretty much all Thug is talking about on the album. Besides the case, he's only talking about is getting his dick wet the rest of the album. So if you feel like hearing that for over 15 or so records out of the 23 or whatever that's on there, then go right and go right ahead. But yeah, other than that, like I said, there's a couple of good records on here, but other than that, you can kind of trim this one down to about maybe six or seven.
I mean, but that's the problem with like a lot of mainstream rap is they're so limited on their subject matter because like I mean and we almost at the 30-year anniversary. It's been 29 years since Tupac passed away, right? But
Okay.
take a person like a Tupac or a Nas or a Jay-Z or a Ghostface Killer or, an Eminem or, you know what I mean? Like certain
DMX.
people, like a Kanye, back in the day, mostly. Um,
DMX is
there
a
were
good one.
certain people, and these are all the people that we consider to be the legends for the most part, everybody I just named, right? That were diverse in their subject matter. They could talk about street shit, they could talk about ball and shit, but they could get introspective. They could hit you with some backpack shit. They could hit you with some funny shit. They could, you know what I'm saying? Like they could do everything. Busta Rhymes is another example. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of people who Biggie, you know what I mean? Like all of the people that we consider the greats. And even that trend follows into the 2000s. T.I., Jeezy, you know what I'm saying? Gucci. Like all of these people. Now, Gucci, not as much, but he could do it, just by the sheer amount of music. But, he would get personal. It was just more so from a street element. But, um, all of these people, they can make girl records, they could make, you know what I'm saying, like club, like they could do everything, and that was what was expected. And it feels like at some point mainstream rappers got so pigeonholed into only rapping about the club, the streets, and money, you know what I'm saying, that if you take one of those things away, your subject matter is so limited now. You know what I'm saying? All Thug can rap about out of those three things is maybe going to the club and having money. And like you said, getting his dick sucked all the time. Well, I'll put that in the club part, but you know what I'm saying? Like, because it's party app type shit. So it's like, you know what I mean? Like, that's the thing about not being able to be diverse in what you talk about and not being able to do a introspective song or not being able to, you know what I mean, like do a backpack record or a concept record like Lupe Fiasco or like Jadakiss Y or you know what I'm saying, like if you have a concept that you can develop on a record, then that will expand your creativity also. But these niggas don't do that no more. So it's like that's a big problem, I feel like. You know what I mean? Like
To piggyback off,
so you limit themselves so much. Go ahead.
yeah, to piggyback off that too, I also feel like part of it is, and like especially on like the street rapper side too, like a lot of those names that you mentioned, a lot of them also knew how to be ambiguous enough in their raps to where you could paint a picture in your mind of what they're talking about, and you can like kind of visualize it and see like the story that they're painting for you. But at the end of the day, they would keep it ambiguous enough to where you didn't really know what they were talking about. Like, or like you didn't know specific people or exact areas or whatever the case may be of what they were describing to you. Whereas nowadays, a lot of that shit is right up on Front Street. The name of the person sometimes, where they were at, who they were with, what they used to do whatever. Like it's detailed to the point where you don't have to imagine it anymore. You can just Google that shit and it'll a picture of it will be there and you can just see
I
exactly
mean,
where it was.
think about it. There would be no DJ Academics if it wasn't for those type of records. There would be no Trap Lord Ross. Because there's no academics in this hypothetical world, there's no Poetic Flacco. You know what I'm saying? Like all of this shit creates a trickle effect of all of these niggas who basically just create content based off of black trauma, essentially. You know what I'm saying? Like, now I don't necessarily put a value judgment on it, whether that's a good or a bad thing that these people are covering these subjects. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people, It's just like the news. It's just the new form of the news. You know what I'm saying? If Barbara Walters is reporting on hip hop and she's reporting on, Tupac and Biggie's murders, you know what I'm saying? And she's doing reporting, trying to figure out who did it or whatever back in the 90s. Like nobody looks at her like, oh, you're invading hip hop. And you know what I'm saying? But when Trap Lord Ross drops a documentary about King Von trying to figure out, yo, did he really kill these people he said he killed? Like people look at him like he's a culture vulture. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I just tend to look at it like the way things get reported evolve, you know what I mean? And I don't necessarily blame like a Trap Lord Ross per se, but like a Flacco or an Academics to me, it's different because they're black and they actually actively make a mockery of what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Like when people are dying and shit like that. So just imagine that that lane didn't exist. You know what I'm saying? Like because there aren't a bunch of rappers telling on themselves on record and going on Instagram live threatening the niggas that they're rapping about. So it's like even if they don't say a name, oh, I still know who you're talking about because you argued with them yesterday on live. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, culture vulture, and like this quote unquote infotainment lane, because we're gonna say half information, half entertainment lane,
Facts.
has is driven by monetization.
Yeah.
So without what if there was no way, like if you didn't get monetized for your views, engagement, haters, and all the rest of this, these lanes would not exist. You know, uh and please do not think that because I am saying something, I'm not the teapot calling the kettle black. Because guess what? I don't even know what number show this is for us, but I know we had our 100th show maybe 30 shows ago, right? So
Probably something like that.
out of 130 shows, if one of the people that we've discussed ever decided to retweet us, see it, respond back, or let alone come on the show, we would be gracious. We would be like, oh my God, we would be like, yo, did you Cardi just said the bar exam said whatever the fuck, we would be geeked because we know what that would mean for us. With saying that, I could not do that one time, right? Let's just say we did get a Cardi to respond and we saw the spike. Now we have to recreate that. So now instead of it just happening organically, I'm trying to manufacture it. So now I'm a poke a bear, and then I'm gonna say what I had to say, and then at the person so her team and camp can say. Now it becomes almost like a pest, like a thorn in the side type shit. Like what the fuck are they talking about over here? And then who are they talking about it to? How many views? How many? So when an academic say, academics has what, 1 million followers? Maybe more
way
than
more
that.
than that.
Probably more. I mean,
Yeah.
because you got to think he's on Twitch. He was one of the early dudes that like really developed a big Twitch following, which is really where all of his money comes from, if you think about
So
it, because
yeah.
it's like donations and memberships and all that type of shit. So he probably has 1 million on Twitch, plus
So yeah.
YouTube, plus
So yeah.
Instagram. Like there's some crossover, but
So
Yep.
if I'm a DJ Academics hater, and I'm like, oh man, don't nobody pay attention to him. No, actually, 1 million plus people do pay attention to him. So you should, because
millions.
he's
Yeah.
talking about you. Now it almost forces your hand to respond. And there's so many of those who are looking for that clout. Like I will stand on it. I will, when they say, oh, is this the hill you willing to die on? I am willing to die on this hill. That clout is a bigger epidemic and problem than crack ever was.
And we're gonna start. No, end it right there because this is a perfect segue for the next subject for the segment.
Okay.
Right? Clout, rich people being weirdos. I've said it a million times, and I will continue to say it that there's a certain dollar amount that you make where you instantly become weird. I don't know what the amount is, but you instantly become weird. You lose your morals. There's science studies behind this shit too. Like I'm not just making this shit up because I disdain billionaires and shit. It's more like because there's actual studies that back this shit up. People who drive nicer cars on average don't stop for people in crosswalks. People who make a lot of money will stop in the middle of a conversation with you while you're pouring your heart out to them and take a phone call in the middle of it like it's nothing. Um, they are more likely to like there's a lot of studies behind it to where there's actual show that the richer a motherfucker is, the more likely they are to treat other people worse. You know what I'm saying? And they lose empathy and shit like that. So with that said, I take it a step further and I say, once you get to a certain dollar amount, you just start doing evil shit, either because you're bored or because the Illuminati forces you to, have dirt on you, whatever the fuck, like, or foreign governments, perhaps. You know what I'm saying? Which is what we're going to get into here. So I don't know if y'all heard, but there's been some new documents that have emerged, and I predicted this when the Epstein files first became a big talking point again with Trump's whole thing. I predicted that there would be various other rich people that we are well aware of in these documents. So I present to you Chapter 1, The Documents Emerge. In late September 2025, the U.S. House Oversight Committee, led by the Democrats, released a new batch of documents from Jeffrey Epstein's estate, including calendars, call logs, financial records, flight manifests, and daily scheduling notes. This is from Politico. Among these records, some names of high-profile individuals appear, often in planning or scheduling entries rather than in explicit incriminating context. One particularly striking entry from December 6, 2014 reads, "Reminder, Elon Musk to Island, December 6th. Is this still happening?" This note suggests Epstein had at least tentatively scheduled or considered a trip involving Musk to his private island, often referred to by the media as Epstein Island. And for those who need a reminder, Epstein Island is where they were fucking all the little girls at. There in Florida on South Beach. Yeah, that's where a lot of the trafficking was going on. And they were found guilty, so I don't have to say allegedly. Other names appearing in the documents include Peter Thiel and Steve Bannon, for whom the records show scheduled meetings or contact with Epstein. For those who don't know who Peter Thiel and Steve Bannon are, they're top-level people in the Trump administration. I don't know if Steve Bannon is in the administration right now. He was in the first one. Now I think he just does like a podcast / radio show, but he definitely is very much still pro-Trump. Peter Thiel is in the administration. Additionally, Bill Gates' name is mentioned in the new release, though not in the context of direct involvement, alongside the prominent scheduling references. Chapter 2, Musk's response. Once these documents were public, Elon Musk issued a strong denial. He claimed he never visited Epstein Island. He never accepted invitations from Epstein to go there. He said headlines about him in the Epstein files were misleading. He noted that, I don't know how that's misleading. Let's just start there. Like, it says the context that there was a planned meeting, at least on Epstein's behalf, and he was wondering if you were still going to be there. I don't know what context needs to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
so I'll say it's the context.
Go ahead.
Yeah, the context is 2020. So meaning this is a true set. Everybody remember the show Sons of Anarchy on
Hell yeah.
The biker show?
Yeah.
Everybody was a fan of Sons of Anarchy. Everybody. Then you found out that through history, Sons of Anarchy was written as a script. It was the same script as Hamlet, right? Like it was the same pieces and players. It was just with a modern day biker feel, but the storyline of the mother, the king, the organization was all Hamlet, right? I say that to say there was a show called The Blacklist that now has came out.
Oh yeah, I know about that.
Is Raymond. So Epstein was rumored to be an Israeli Mossad agent. That is a rumor. They have never confirmed that part of it, but they
never confirmed. But there's a lot of evidence.
A lot of evidence that he was
a lot of evidence.
An Israeli Mossad agent in the spy world or whatever, and move like this, right? And his Raymond Reddington, he was a convict, but if you watch the Blacklist, you understand where this is going. So
Yeah.
everybody, like part of the Epstein Island, even though everything that you described at the island happened, everything at the island, it wasn't a Disneyland type of island. It was like, oh yeah, come on over to the island, because that was part of the invitation too. Now, granted, you might like, just like the Diddy party. Some people be like, man, I went to 5 or 6 Diddy parties. I ain't never seen nothing in the back room like this, but I always was there. Same thing for the Epstein Islands. But because so many people of this celebrity 1%er, it was almost, I'm not wishing any ill luck. How many people have been to a Michael Rubin party?
Right.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And
I
if
get
Michael
it,
Rubin,
and I get what you're saying. Here's the difference, though. And I feel like it is a huge difference. At all those parties and all of that type of shit, even the Diddy parties, to a degree, there was some sort of media presence, and there was always a risk of that information being able to be linked to some sort of media presence. So, for example, if somebody says they were abused at a Diddy party, and then there's a picture of them at a Diddy party, even if everybody's having a good time in that particular picture, and there's nothing crazy happening in the picture, it's enough of a link to be like, okay, well, you were there, so maybe that shit happened. You know what I'm saying? Whereas with this Epstein Island shit, it's a private island that he owns. So there's no government, there's no laws. You know what I'm saying? Whatever he says goes, because it's his island. So there's no media presence. There's nobody to corroborate either way unless people get to ratting. So I feel like that's the only difference. You know what I'm saying? Like with the Diddy shit, it's like the Michael Rubin shit. We see pictures of these motherfuckers at the parties.
no, I'm not saying.
We've never seen anybody physically at Epstein Island.
So I'm not. That's what I'm saying about the island itself. Before the files got released, average celebrity didn't know of what was going on. Like when you said the invitation was just extended and just went, like I feel like more. It was almost, because it was like, to me, conspiracy theory by design, right? Like if there's 25 people, right, that I want to invite, 20 of them are legit, like, hey, we just gonna work. It's a free trip, free food. Let's go. The 5 that I really need to holler at or need to do something. Okay, this is what you're here under the disguise of. Oh yeah, well, it was 25 of us who went to this island, but the 5 who did this over here to the left, that's and Epstein had so many of those kind of pockets, from political to athlete to influential to everybody. So it was almost, when I said the Michael Rubin party, that was just because it was why no one's going to turn down that invitation. No one, I don't believe, in Jeffrey Epstein's heyday, presidents included, would turn down an opportunity to go. I'm not saying they engaged in whatever happened at the island that we know to be happening. I'm just saying the invitation extended provided a blanket of, because it was almost like, well, shit, everybody's been here.
Yeah.
And as just a regular human, like, the celebrity circle is so small and so much of a hierarchy that if I can go to if you're going to send me a plane, take me to your island, and it is literally just me and my assistant, or me and my whoever I'm allowed to invite, and I don't even have to bring my security, I'm looking at that as a plus, because nothing is at this island. I know I'm safe. I don't have to be on guard. I can, I'm just bringing toiletries, a weekend bag or whatever, because I don't know what was going to take place at the island. Not saying
true,
you're going to engage to an extent.
Yes, now, that's true. If you've been to the island once. Right, yeah, exactly.
Right.
If you're taking multiple trips, bitch, you're doing something.
Yeah.
Hey, now that's what I'm saying. So when they said Elon was going to the island, I don't think Elon participated in anything in the
Well,
island.
no,
I
I
think
think
he was
Elon is too awkward to even have sex.
Right.
Like, I think he's artificially inseminating all his bitches. Like, that's what I think. But I also think that um birds of a feather to a certain degree, right?
Yeah.
Everybody in your circle isn't necessarily exactly like you. They're probably, for the most part, morally aligned with you. You feel me?
well.
So
So this
what
is
I'm saying is, well, here, let me finish
yeah. Go ahead.
because the Bill Cosby rumors were around since the 80s. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't really a new rumor. Like people have been talking about that forever. It just got re-blown up when my man, what was my man's
Harrison
name? What's
Barnes.
the black comedian? What's his
Uh,
name?
Harrison Barnes.
Nah,
Or yes,
who
it's
said that
what's
shit?
that nigga's name?
yeah,
I
but it
know
was
who it
like
was. Damn, I can't remember his
I
name
see
right
his
now.
face. Hannibal Buress, that's his name.
Hannibal
oh,
Buress. Yep.
Hannibal.
It was Hannibal Buress. So he re-blew it up. It kind of went back viral again. And then, all the comments from Bill Cosby's past where he was basically admitting to the shit started resurfacing and all of this. Like, and then all those women came out and all of that, right? So if that's an open secret in Hollywood for that long before it gets blown up, you don't think that if a person who has his own island, you know what I'm saying, and weird shit is happening on this island, you don't think that's not an open secret that people don't know about for a long time too? That's part of my thing. Like these circles of extremely rich people, I'm talking billionaires at this point now. I'm not talking about Chris Tucker who allegedly went to the island. I'm not talking about, moderately rich people who like in comparison. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like he's rich, don't get me wrong. Like he's rich by American standards, but in
Right.
comparison to a billionaire, he's not, right? So I'm talking billionaire level because you got to think Elon started PayPal. He was one of those people. So he's been having this type of money for a long time now at this point. Like PayPal's 30 years old. You know what I'm saying? And he was one of the founders of it. So it's like Elon's been having this type of money. He's been in these circles. There's no way you can tell me that he didn't know. That's all I'm saying. Like, not when
So
you're Elon rich. If you're
I'm a,
Chris
I'm
Tucker
a,
rich, maybe because you're
yeah.
just an actor
Yeah.
and you're worth 50
I feel
million or
like
whatever.
I
But
feel
when you're
like
worth a billion or more, nigga,
so
you
then
know what's going on.
maybe you're correct in this aspect, and I'm gonna frame it like this. I don't know
Mhm.
the amount of money. It's not the amount of money that you can get that you get to where weird shit starts happening to you. I feel like this. I feel like Epstein and by everybody, I mean literally the word everybody. So,
Mhm.
meaning that if you're of a billion, if you're of whatever that money that you said, that whatever that line is to get on that radar of, hold on, I need to have some leverage on him. I don't have any connection to him. I don't, or them, or woman, or whatever. I don't know what they're into. I don't know anything about them, but I need to have something. I need to have some kind of, have them come to the house, come to the island, you know.
I mean, you
So,
can see it. Like, you can see it with certain, like, here, I'll give you a good example, right? For me and Eric's personal life, you know what I'm saying? Again, everybody knows we love wrestling.
right,
You can literally see it though. From the time WWE's been a publicly traded corporation since like 2003 or something like that, right? The minute that TKO bought them, and now they're controlled by this powerhouse. You know what I'm saying? It's not just one dude who's in charge that happens to have shareholders now, like a lot of corporations function. This is a corporation within a corporation now. So now, totally different level, right? This is tens of billions of dollars that we're playing, hundreds of billions of dollars possibly, that we're dealing with at this point. And what do you see correspond with that? All of a sudden, Triple H is at the White House. You didn't see that before. You know what I'm saying? Like, Vince McMahon wasn't at the White House. Yes, he had a relationship with Donald Trump. I never saw him at the White House. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, I saw Linda McMahon. She was trying to be part of the first administration or whatever. She's part of the second one. But her and Vince ain't together now. Vince ain't at the White House. You know what I'm saying? But the TKO board members are. You know what I'm saying? Triple H is there. Stephanie McMahon's there. So it's like there's a certain level of money that now the connections are on that level instead of just other business leaders. So that's exactly what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, and I think in order to even make a certain amount of money, there's certain moves that you have to make beforehand before you even have access to it. And that will open those doors, so to speak. And I don't necessarily mean on a conspiracy, Illuminati, they're coming after your soul and eating your babies type of level. I mean, literally just like on some Jay-Z Dame shit. You're going to have to cut this person out if you want to get to the next level. Are you willing to do that? Yes. Okay, cool. You're one of our kind of people. We know you're cutthroat enough. Welcome to the club. Fuck you, Dame. You know what I'm saying? Jay-Z's a
Right.
billionaire now. And Dame's got his teeth falling out. You feel me? Like,
Well,
at least that's the public perception. I
yeah,
don't know the
that's-
actual story
Yeah.
behind it, but that's what it looks like.
that's why they say, does money change you or does it bring out who you really are? So let's,
I think it's
and-
both.
Yeah.
it is. It's a matter of perspective and who you are. But let's just say everyone included we make it real personal with the bar exam. Oh,
Mhm.
I want to give you Castanet numbers on your streams, but you have to walk away from this pod. Now, whoever's offering me that to me, are they credible? Could they really do it? Do I really see that happening? You know what I'm saying? Whether the answer is yes or no, I still have to make that choice. So,
Yeah.
and down both of those roads are two separate ways. If I say yes to this, now whoever that angel investor hand of God moment was, I am forever indebted to because they launched me into this. So, the same thing of what you just said. If you take my company public, or and I have whatever shares of this, that, and the third, or I'm able to get this tech or able to do something to go to a level that I had not even foreseen, or to put me in a level with a competitor that I had a competitor that was a mentor. Let's just say we came up with a podcast software design. And if we was like, oh yeah, Microsoft wants to buy it. Oh, they do? We're going to jump on that. But then they say, oh, yeah, but what if we told you could be bigger than Facebook? Well, hold on. What?
Right.
I was really happy to sell to Microsoft 10 minutes ago.
Mhm.
Oh, my God. I am good. I am done. But now you're saying I'm finna compete with Facebook and be a competitor?
Yeah.
That's a totally different kind of conversation. And that's why they say those who, you got to know who's motivated by what. If you're motivated by money, you're gonna always sell. If you're motivated by power and social status, that's a
Right.
different type. That's a different type of.
Because that comes with money. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, so if you're just chasing the bag, then yeah, the power and all of that stuff doesn't necessarily matter to you. But if you want the power and those things and the status, like you said, you already know money comes with it. So, here, let me
To
get
go back to-
this real quick. And then actually I got a question because you said something interesting and I want both y'all's perspective on it. Chapter 3, legal, political, and investigative backdrop. So it's critical to understand that being named in these documents does not equal being accused of criminal wrongdoing. The appearance of a name in Epstein's schedules or logs is not proof of complicity or misconduct. Still, the revelations have stirred political pressure, scrutiny, and calls for full disclosure. One flashpoint: the FBI director Kash Patel has resisted releasing all Epstein materials, prompting congressional criticism that the Justice Department is withholding evidence. A July 2025 DOJ and FBI memo concluded that there was no credible evidence Epstein had a client list, nor clear proof he trafficked victims on behalf of uncharged third parties, which is insane because why did he go to prison then? Why is Ghislaine
Right.
Maxwell in prison? You know what I'm saying? That's what they were found guilty of, was trafficking. But so anyway, some critics have contended that the newly released records aren't as explosive as portrayed. Many documents had already been in the public domain, or that the timing of releases is politically motivated. So yeah, I mean, that was basically a put together little report from Reuters, the Daily Beast, Washington Post, Politico, and the New York Post. So those are my sources for all of that. But here's what I want to ask y'all though. If somebody does something for you, let's say it's something life changing that changes your life dramatically for the positive. You know what I'm saying? And when I say dramatically, I mean um it changes the amount of money that you make to where you're able to buy a house out of renting apartments, or you're able to finance a brand new car instead of riding in hoopties or riding the bus, or you're able to move, into an apartment, out of the hood, and you're able to move to a nicer area. And you know what I'm saying? Like these type of things, right? Like like truly life changing that people can do for you. How long do you owe them for that? Or do you literally owe them for life? Like you are indebted to them for the rest of forever because they did this one nice thing for you that maybe didn't cost them that much to do. You know what I'm saying? Like they just put you in position. It didn't wasn't much effort. They made a phone call, maybe, you know what I'm saying? But it benefited you greatly. How indebted to them are you for and for how long?
You want me to go first or second?
Whoever. I'm just throwing it out there.
I'll, I'll go first on this one. So it's crazy that you even pose that question because you don't know like my personal life type shit. And that situation is very kind of close to home. My wife has put others into that type of position, right?
Mm-hmm.
By putting, the quote unquote good word in their field of work. The reasoning she did it wasn't to be indebted though.
Right.
It was, hey, I think you're a good person for this position. I think you can do the job. Apply. You know what I'm saying? And that situation has repeated itself for multiple people inside our circle, right? Now, because of that, she didn't do it with the expectation of, yeah, you know what? Now that you're doing X, Y, and Z, you owe me 1, 2, and 3 now. Or when you get X, Y, and Z, you're going to owe me 1, 2, and 3. Or if X, Y, and Z happens for you and I put you in this position, no later down the road, 1, 2, and 3 is going to be due. And when I cash out 1, 2, and 3, you don't know, but I'm just letting you know that it's on. None of the intent matters. So on her side, it was literally the intent was don't fuck up my name. Because
right.
I'm going out on a limb. I worked to get where I'm at in this status, and I'm going out on this limb saying, "Hey, I got my peoples with me," and it might not even said they was your peoples. To be real, talk about it. Just said, "Hey, you should apply." And do I think this person is good for this position? I wasn't a roadblock to your success. I wasn't necessarily the Geppetto strings, but I had enough influence to facilitate a successful outcome for you. But I think the intent matters behind that, because as innocent that she played that role and did, for those people in her life, I
Mhm.
feel like others would do the same thing and definitely have a back end to it. Like, you owe me. You need to do this for me. And if I do this, hey, make sure I get this on the back end. So I think the intent and the character of the person who's facilitating that is where it matters most, because at the same strength too, you know what you wouldn't do to somebody else, right? So if you
Mhm.
said, hey, I can get my brother in doing X, Y, and Z at this company, that's my brother. I'm gonna go do that. You know your brother's not
Right.
gonna burn you. But on the flip side, that your brother did burn you, right? That was a life lesson. He like, oh man, I'll never do that again for somebody because my own brother got me, you know. So now for you to repeat it down the road, somebody would have to be closer to you than your brother. You know, so
Mhm.
it's going to shape you one way or the other, but the intent behind it, you're not going to be like, oh yeah, you know, you need to do this, and but you know, I've been paying the rent for the last 2 years, so the next 2 years on you.
Right.
Like
Right. No, that makes sense.
yeah, that wouldn't be, that's not your intent. Now, I would feel like whoever did that for me or put me in that position, I'd want to make it right with them or show my appreciation through whatever I could for them.
Yeah, but I feel like
Yeah.
that's different though, because that's there's not an expectation from the person for you to continuously, like, you know what I'm saying? It's like when people use the phrase, "Oh, well, I put him on." It's like, okay, well, why did you do that? So that you could continuously look to him and be like, "Hey, nigga, I put you on, so you know you got to look out for me in perpetuity forever." Like that's almost the problem I have with people who start companies and then 20, 25 years later they're billionaires or whatever, and then their workers are struggling, and people's defense is always like, "Well, in 1990 they made a big risk and sacrificed and it just so happened to pay off. What if it didn't?" And it's like, okay, but it did, and now the motherfucker's a billionaire. Does he still deserve that because of an idea that he came up with 30 something years ago? You get what I'm saying? It's like,
Yeah.
how much do you get to live off of one thing in perpetuity forever? Eric, go.
I think I think there's a few different ways to look at it. So in kind of what Marcus was describing, I think that with the intent, I think it's important for the person who is setting you up to change your life. I think it's important for that person to lay out the expectation of what they want from you from the beginning. So, for example, if they do want something back in return from you, I feel like it's important for that person to say, well, what it is that they want in return up front.
Yep.
I feel like if that person doesn't expect anything in return, then they also should say that too. Now,
Yes.
in your case, as the person being put on, if they tell you they don't want anything in return, it's ultimately up to you at that point to decide, number one,
How
how
you want to
important
show
that
your
person,
appreciation.
yeah, how important that person is to you to show your appreciation. And then number two, just the ease of being able to pay that person back for how much you feel it was worth to you also at the same time. Now, Shane, in what you described, I feel like that is a little different because that's like looking for constant validation out of somebody who you're than, and you're constantly trying to belittle them at that point. You know what I mean? Like it's almost like a nigga. Like when I hear the "nigga, I'll put you on" type shit. Like whenever I hear
Mhm.
that, that's almost just like belittling that person. Like if you wouldn't even like almost like you might as well just say you wouldn't be shit if I didn't do that for you. Like you might as
Yeah.
well say that to them. So in that instance, I feel like there's almost no room to do that because you're not you're not bigging yourself up for the sake of doing it for something positive. You're doing it just to tear somebody else down. In that instance, I don't really think that that's ever really favorably looked at. Now, do people still do it, and do people still get away with it, especially the top dogs? Of course they do, because who the hell is going to tell them no, or who is going to stand up to them? Not a lot of people, unless they're on that same level with them. And even then, those people are probably not going to say anything either.
You know,
So, it's kind of a catch-22 on that.
let's take it down a step different from life, right? From life
Mhm.
kind of situations and go sports.
Okay.
If I'm if whatever I have a child and I'm a coach, right? In whatever league. So if it's baseball, if it's football, if it's basketball, whatever league, I'm just a coach.
Mhm.
I can facilitate my child entering that said league a lot easier from the inside than from the out, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
But just because I can facilitate whatever audition, scouting, uh what however I manifest that, right? Child player still have to execute once on field
Yep.
or once a part of team. So even though, you wouldn't be in there if I didn't call the commission, get you this, that'd be true. But I still had to go out there and hit that home run or shoot that basket or score that touchdown. I still had to perform and do that. So it just because the opportunity was facilitated by something, not forever indebted. You know, and I mean this on a parent level, on any my as a person who's seen like sports families and sports kids. I mean this, once your child is able to be in a position to buy you a house and give you a car, and they do that, and perhaps or wipe out your debt or do whatever that they choose to do for you as a percentage of what they have earned, right? Their obligation is like they're not there to be your star for your business or because you always wanted to run a chain of laundromats. Like that's not on. That's not. They're not here to facilitate. Just because you facilitated their dream of getting them in said league, do they now repay the favor of giving you whatever you wanted on the back? Because unless you stated that,
It's almost
like
It's
with
like,
it's
Eric,
almost
well,
like
not even that, but it's
your
like
example.
just in a parent relationship, it's like, yo, fam, you brought me here. I didn't choose you as a parent. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had no
right?
choice in the matter of being born out this motherfucker. You made that choice for me. So I'm not in, you know what I mean? Like, I'm grateful for my parents and like I would do something like that for them off the strength of the love. You know what I'm saying? But no, like I'm not indebted to do everything for you that you did for me because you made the choice to be a parent. I did not
Right.
make the choice to be born. So that in itself makes the relationship dynamic different. You are forever supposed to you have to make sure I'm straight. Like it doesn't have to be reciprocal. I should if I'm a good kid and I'm a good son, you know what I'm saying? Then I should want to do those things, but that isn't my job. I'm the kid. Your job is to make sure I'm straight.
And
It goes back to two things, really. It's part of what you said earlier, Marcus. It goes back to the just don't fuck up my name, then. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
That's really all
if
I
we're
owe
asking
you.
for bare minimum shit, it's like, okay, then don't fuck up my name, number one. And then number two, on like I said, on the other end of the spectrum, don't rub it in my face all the time. Like, it's not like you as the parent need to come up to me and be like, I'm the one who put you here. You should be thankful. Like, it's not like you need to say that every single day. And
already stated, then like it, like that's the way out. Like it's almost like that Ricky Boys in the Hood shit. Like I mean, you legit, and it when I say a way out, it's only the first step because it's high school getting to a D1 offer. You know, you still got to go to the D1 school to get in the league. So all the high school can do is put you in the best position to get your D1 offer. That's what, and they have done. They that shit is a machine. They do that exceptionally well. It is not on
We went
once
to a
you
school
get
like
D1
that.
offer to come back to the high school to, hey, you know, if I didn't throw you those extra balls, you wouldn't have. No, 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 no. That's not what that. Now, if they choose to, oh, coach always looked out for me and this, that, and the third. You know, that's totally different. But it's not
Yep.
done with that pipeline of you know, indebted. But like I always say too, you know, there are bad actors on every side of the fence. You know, there are some people who legit want to see you succeed and just want to see you do better. And
Mhm.
they don't do it for an I told you so moment. You know, they do it because, you know, Kevin Hart said something to me that has always stuck to me. He was like, I got millions of dollars. These are my best friends over here. But if they don't have millions of dollars, my millions of dollars is not fun. Now I can have more millions, but if I have millions and millions of dollars and they only have like 50 and $60,000, that's not fun. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
like I want all of my, so if I got $10 million, I need all my friends to have at least $1 million so we can go out and do X, Y, and Z on a different level all the way around. That's fun to me. That's taking everybody with me.
Exactly.
But if I gotta always, like, if you say, oh yeah, well, I want to hang out with y'all, I got $20 million and y'all still working y'all, I'm like, hey, can you get off on Friday?
Right.
You
It's just a different
know,
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
and
You
then
ain't even
I
when
do
you're a
the,
millionaire, you ain't even asking your friends what time they get off.
yeah, I'm doing the Guilford, like,
There
oh man, you can't ask them, can you leave early on Thursday then? And
no, you're a
and I'm
billionaire. It's
giving you
meet me
crap
on the
about
yacht. If you have a meeting, don't worry, we got Wi-Fi. You can zoom in.
it. Yeah.
That's the conversation. Do it on my yacht while we're eating caviar and doing all this shit.
But
You
at
know what
the
I'm
same
saying?
time too, we as a black people, like I want to, I want to hustle and disappear. I
But I
don't.
feel like that is a conversation that we're gonna have to have another day because we're gonna wrap up here in a minute. But I feel like that's part of the issue with black people is niggas want to hustle, get their bread, and then disappear instead of trying to pull other people art that they aren't necessarily connected to. You get what I'm saying? Like Kevin Hart said, I want my friends to be rich because I'm rich. Okay, cool. What about the people in your neighborhood that you grew up with in Philly? Like what's going on?
No,
Because you have
see,
enough.
yeah,
Do not present like you have way more than you could ever need and probably could ever spend at this point. So now what are you doing? You're good. Your whole family, the whole lineage is straight
yeah,
forever. You know what I'm saying? But what are you doing for them now? What are you doing for, you get what I'm saying, for the comedy
yeah,
clubs that you came up in? Are you putting money back in there so that comedians who are on the come up, you know, can have better opportunities than you had and they don't necessarily have to go through the exact same, you know, hardships that you did? Like that's the type of shit I be wanting to see from, like, LeBron is a great example of this shit, like on some real
oh
shit.
yeah,
Like he
absolutely.
does
Hmm.
everything that I be wanting to see rich people do. I'm like, I can't complain about that nigga. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like he's putting his money where his mouth is. So I'm
I
cool. He
this
looked
is
out for the family and he's looking out for Akron. I'm like, that's all I want to
Right.
see.
yeah, this is true. So the win that last Powerball, it was $1.8 billion. It was sold like the Quick Trip that's half a mile down from my house. Like I didn't
Yeah.
go like so when it was 1.1 when it was $1 billion, I went to that Quick Trip to buy the ticket to buy a ticket, and then the next one it went to 1.8 or no, when it was 1.4, I bought that ticket. And then when it went to 1.8, I was by the airport and I bought it from another Quick Trip. Just I didn't go to that Quick Trip today. Like, you know, I was
Damn,
like,
Mm.
that was the sickest feeling I've ever had.
that's
But
crazy.
when they first announced it, they said it was in St. Louis, Missouri, and it was at a Quick Trip. And I was like, and my ticket was in the car. So I was like, nope, I'm not gonna go to the car and check it. I'm gonna list what I'm gonna do right now so I can stay true to it. Because if I did hit this, I need to like be able to like go to this piece of paper and like have a plan. So, you know,
Hmm.
I was like, who, what am I gonna do? And my wife had sent the payouts of like what the annuities were for the next 30 years. So it started at 24 million, 27, 32, 42, 50, 55, and keeps going up to, I think year 30 was 100, like, no, year 26, I believe, is when it cracked $100 million. So you don't get
Hmm.
the full payouts, but anyway. So I wrote down everything that I would do with $800 million cash. And
Yeah.
what you said, because I come from a nonprofit background, like I said, my daughter's in nursing school, but she qualified for whatever her qualifications were. That was going to be the standard for my foundation. So she was a straight A student.
Mm.
She also got denied from all of the top scholarships and fell into this. I qualify, but I don't get the money, and it was like that, and that's who I wanted to help. So I wanted to help, and but she
Mm.
still came from this type of background, and did so her demographic is that was who I was looking for, to where I was going to pay for the school, the foundation was going to do, this is what it was going to be. That's just me, because that's what literally in fact affected her. And if you wanted to go to nursing school, that's what the Marcus Allen Foundation, Allen Family Foundation, was going to do for you. You
Hmm.
know, that's how we were gonna pay it forward to us. But all the rest of the shit, I was stupid with it. I was so
Oh, hey, ain't nothing wrong with that.
yeah,
Like you can do some things for yourself. Like I'm not against that
yeah,
at all. Like I said, that's why I say LeBron is the perfect example. Cause he's richer than a motherfucker. The nigga lives in multiple mansions. You know what I'm saying? He's driving all the nicest cars. He's got jewelry. He's got all the sweetest clothes. He's got everything that a nigga could possibly want. You know what I'm saying? But with that said, he still does a significant amount of giving back, not just enough to be like, all right, y'all niggas, like, don't. Then he opened up a school. It's like
Right.
Dr. Umar has allegedly been trying to do that shit for 28 years now and ain't got nowhere. This nigga LeBron did it in a few years of being within the NBA. Then it was like, all right, let me go on and do it. I got it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
right.
the example that I want to see niggas follow. You know what I mean? So, um, but yeah,
Hell yeah.
everybody, what did y'all think of today's conversation? You know what I'm saying? With the homies, Mr. Marcus, with the Eric G Life. You know what I mean? Allie will be back next week. But yeah, like, share, subscribe, leave comments, with your thoughts on today's episode. But until next week, y'all, this is Shane G, and this has been the Bar Exam right here on the Ethos Media Network. Once again, please make sure you like, you share, and you subscribe for all the latest content. Click the link below, become a patron. You know what I'm saying? We just dropped some new content on Patreon last week, so check us out. But aside from that, we love everybody who's tuning in. Catch y'all next week. Peace.
Peace.